an experienced explorer. He easily slid deep into the cave, but on the way back up, his small body got completely stuck in a rock crack only 9 inches wide. Rescuers had to rush in and set up a complicated pulley system to pull him out before the cave turned into his grave. This is a true story from the Weatherly Well Cave incident. Morning of February 11, 1998. The Tennessee woods were covered in icy fog. James Lewis, Alan England, Darrell Moore, and Jerry Olson gathered together 4 friends, all passionate cave explorers. Olson had discovered this cave and invited his buddies to check it out. It was called Weatherly Well. Right at the entrance, the challenge began a narrow crack only 9 inches wide. It led to a slide about 4 feet long. After that, a 7-foot vertical drop opened into a bigger chamber. Then another drop about 10 feet deep. The entrance was wet tight and suffocating like an icy vice from the earth itself. Stats show that only about 15% of explorers can safely handle super narrow cracks like this, both physically and mentally. The group checked the opening. They were all experienced. But this cave was different. It demanded precise planning, ropes, safety lines, and clearly, only one person could go in at a time. Alan England, 63 years old, over 10 years of caving experience. He was the smallest in the group, so he volunteered to go first. The group tied one end of the rope outside. England took a deep breath. Holding the guide rope tight, he started twisting his body down. His chest was crushed as he squeezed through the 9-inch gap. It felt like the cave was choking him, but with experience, strength, and some help from gravity, he slowly slid down inch by inch. Every centimeter was a fight against cold, hard rock. His clothes kept snagging on the wet cave walls. By the time he got through, his clothes were soaked. His body was scratched up. His chest heaved from exhaustion. England finally reached a wider chamber. He took deep breaths and shined his light around, taking in the space. Then he moved on to a 10-foot vertical drop. It was wider and a bit easier. Holding the rope, he carefully lowered himself down. He reached a large room where he could finally stand up straight. His headlamp lit up a maze of winding passages below. Sharp, sudden drops everywhere. These tunnels led deep into the darkness. He really wanted to keep exploring, but with his experience, England knew he needed more rope and backup to go deeper. So he decided to turn back. England started to climb up. Years of experience made him confident. He gripped the rope tight, feet pushing against the rock. The 10-foot climb wasn't too hard. Relief started to wash over him. But the real challenge was waiting above. He looked up at the 7-foot vertical section. The crack seemed even tighter now. The exit felt farther away. England grabbed the rope and started climbing. But his body quickly got squeezed tight. The entrance seemed to shrink around him. His soaked clothes clung to his skin, turning into an invisible force holding him back against the freezing rock. Gravity, once his silent friend on the way down, now turned into a ruthless enemy, pressing him down into despair. He was stuck. His muscles, already weak from cold, and exhaustion started to fail. He twisted, pulled, pushed, but nothing worked. Each effort only drained him more. Above, Lewis and Moore watched England struggle. They tried pulling the rope, hearing it strain and grind against the rock, but England didn't move an inch. They looked at each other, helpless. The cave was already cold and his body was soaking wet. The winter air poured in. England slipped into hypothermia. He shivered violently. His breathing turned shallow and fast. Lewis and Olson tried to help. They lowered down dry clothes and a warm water bottle, hoping to keep him alive. England forced himself to drink, trying to fight the cold that was crushing him. For 45 minutes, he battled hypothermia and pure terror. Finally, with a weak voice, he called out. He couldn't keep going. They needed rescue now. Lewis and Olson didn't hesitate. They ran to Olson's house and called the East Tennessee Cave Rescue Team. 2 hours later, the rescue team arrived. They were professional cavers, fully equipped with specialized gear. By the time they reached England, he had been stuck for almost 5 hours. His skin was pale, his whole body shaking from the cold pain pushing him past his limits. The narrow crack in England's position made everything extremely difficult. The rescue team acted fast. They set up a complicated triple pulley system. Ropes were attached directly to a harness wrapped around England's body. The goal was clear: pull him up precisely, minimize friction, and most importantly, avoid more injuries in the tight space. Each pull was slow and brutally painful. England gritted his teeth as the rock scraped his chest, shoulders, and entire body. The team worked carefully. Every move was planned down to the inch. Suddenly, England's groans got softer, then stopped completely. His body went limp. He had passed out. The team froze. Now they weren't just pulling up a living man, they were lifting a heavy, unconscious body. The race against time had just gotten even more intense. The rescue team kept going, faster, but even more careful than before. After more than an hour of struggling, England was finally pulled out of the narrow crack. He was badly injured, but incredibly, he was still alive. They helped him stand up. His body shook uncontrollably from exhaustion and cold. He looked back at the cave entrance and let out a quiet sigh. In that silent moment, standing in the frozen forest, he realized he had survived, purely by luck. After the incident, England admitted it. He had underestimated the difficulty of the exit. The narrow crack made it impossible to use climbing gear properly. He had to rely completely on help from above. The lesson is always there. Would you dare ignore hidden dangers just because you think you're experienced enough?